The monsters flocked from the outskirts of Seoul. Maybe there was a gate where they were created, and the rating of monsters would skyrocket in 4-hour intervals. In other words, the time we had was 8 hours at most. I had to lure Nirvana in to make him confront joongyuk. I think I can do it. I left the party members and called Bi-hyung through the Dokkaebi communication. However, the voice that came back was from Youngki. I'm sorry, Bi-hyung is a bit busy right now. That Bi-hyung bastard, he became sloppy as soon as he was going to be promoted. He was an ungrateful bastard. I had been trying to raise his performance, but he didn't know how to repay favors. There are random boxes and new scenarios, right? Yes, it came out. I'll have 10 of them. I thought it was good, but Youngki surprisingly hesitated. The odds of the random boxes are terrible. Will you be okay? It will be fine. I knew what the Dokkaebi was worried about. Could a person like this survive? You've purchased 10 main scenario number 8 special random boxes. You've spent 30,000 coins. We will stop here. Yes, I wish you the blessing of the story. Youngki's voice disappeared and 10 shiny boxes appeared in the air. They were colorful boxes with large question marks. Lee Gil-young asked me, Hyung, is that what we see in games? If you open it, do you get a random good item? The little kids noticed the fastest. Yes, that's right. Random box. A gambling item that had a low probability of giving SSS grade weapons and SSS grade skills. This was an item designed by Dokkaebis to trick the blind constellations. Why did I buy the box? The constellation Maritime War God is a bit disappointed in you. The constellation Maritime War God says that the basis of longevity is integrity. The constellation Ball General of Justice advises you to be wary of luxury. The constellation Lady of the Brocade Sleep wants you to donate if you have coins. Min Ji-won's face turned red at Lady of the Brocade Sleep's message. I'm sorry, my sponsor is a bit... It's fine. In fact, this isn't a very expensive product. Let's do it together. I'll give you one to change your mood. You will give it? Really? Yes, you can keep any main items that come out of the box. I would be grateful if you just gave me any auxiliary item that comes out as a consumable. I originally planned to sell it for a few coins, but the people here had some relationship with me. It would help if their power increased. Thus, it wasn't a business with any losses. Lee Ji-hee was excited about being given something free and snatched a box first. Wow, since Ajusi said so, I will make good use of it. Then Gong Pil-do and Lee Gil-young took a box. Young, what if I get an SSS grade? It's really tough since the odds are 0.00001%. Really? It's a business acumen. Let's just be fooled for today. Yoo Joong-hyuk scrutinized me and said, Kim Dokja, do you think an item will come out that will help me deal with Nirvana? Well, it is similar. It is a pathetic plan. This jerk also took a box. Finally, Shin Yu-sung was the last one to take a box. I'll give you 2. Shin Yu-sung's eyes widened with surprise. Really? Yes. Shin Yu-sung hesitated for a moment before taking the boxes from me. Somehow, the child's expression wasn't ordinary. I looked closely and there were tears in her eyes. Do I deserve something like this? The past of Shin Yu-sung came to my mind. Maybe this was Shin Yu-sung's first gift since she was born. There were many people with this type of convenient setting and ways of survival. The convenience of someone would always be the real unhappiness of someone else. I handed the box to Shin Yu-sung, who was wiping her eyes. Take this. You're my incarnation. That alone is enough to be deserving. I regretted not taking care of her earlier as I saw Shin Yu-sung's face turn red with liking. I wasn't yet qualified to be a constellation, so I couldn't give Shin Yu-sung a stigma. Was it the right choice to take care of this child? Maybe this child would be unhappy because of me. For now, it was unknown. However, I would do my best to protect this child. Let's try opening them. Think of it as a diversion. Everyone nodded and started opening the boxes. The main scenario number 8 special random box has been used. You have acquired 2 Lane 4 assessments. 1 fairly usable pair of boots, E, have been acquired. Other consumables have been acquired. This was it. The only thing that came out of it were E-grade items and consumables. The situation was pretty much the same for the other party members. Well, I expected it. In the first place, the random box. Congratulations! Someone has broken the probability of 0.00001%. Grand celebration firecrackers appeared in the air. I turned and saw triumph on Shin Yu-sung's face. Don't tell me, really? Ajashi? The small fruit in Shin Yu-sung's hand scattered a bright light. I went closer and the identity of the item became clear. Oh my god, was this what she received? How was my incarnation so lucky? The watching joongyuk was also a bit surprised. You got something good. The SSS grade item, Ancient Beast's Fruit. Among the SSS grade items, with a 0.00001% chance of appearing, the item with the worst probability was the Ancient Beast's Fruit. It was a consumable item, but the usage was worth its rating of SSS. If you feed this fruit to a monster you can't tame, you will be able to tame it. Congratulations. Save it for the right time. There was no better item for Shin Yu-sung who could use taming. If this was used on a monster that could evolve beyond the first grade, Shin Yu-sung might be able to grow beyond the 41st version. Shin Yu-sung looked between me and the fruit with sparkling eyes. Ajashi, this is great, but can it only be used on monsters? Perhaps. Why? It is nothing. Shin Yu-sung blushed cutely as she watched me before avoiding my eyes. Lee Gil-young drooled and rushed over to her side. Hey, can you give me that? I'll give you my Titano. I hate insects. Lee Ji-hee watched like she was jealous. Ajashi, why are you doing this? Do you really want to change our mood? Of course not. Give me the consumables that came out of the box. I was aiming for the consumables that came out of the box since the beginning. Loudspeaker dome channels times 4 have been acquired. Loudspeaker general channels times 4 have been acquired. Loudspeaker area only times 2 have been acquired. Yu Jung-hyuk's eyes narrowed. I know what you want to do. Loudspeaker. They were usable consumables that could send specific messages to specific channels or entire areas depending on the options. However, just saying a few words to that guy. I told Yu Jung-hyuk, the important thing is what you say. I used a loudspeaker. Then let's get started. I started the story that would attract Nirvana. At this time, Nirvana was in the temporary base of the church. Nirvana had his eyes shut while the statue of the Avalokiteśvara, Bodhisattva, looked down on him. Don't hang on to the past or look to the future. The past has already disappeared and the future hasn't come yet. Nirvana memorized these phrases, but the doctrine wasn't spread by voice. Sweat covered his forehead. Sparks bounced all around in his body. After a while, his eyes turned white and a message came. You have succeeded in learning a new skill. Nirvana opened his eyes. It was unreasonable. His stigma, succession, consumed probability when used. Therefore, he couldn't use succession unless he used the story that accumulated through his reincarnations to provide some plausible probability. I've lost too much story. His past disappeared, but Nirvana soon regained his composure. There were some things that must be emptied in order to live in the present. He struggled with the energy consumed as he headed into the depths of the church. He went down to the basement, and after passing through a corridor, a gentle light appeared. It was a room with an antique-style table and a double bed. It was a well-equipped room with a warm atmosphere. I've kept you waiting. Then shall we begin today's session? There were 2 women sitting at the table in the room. They were the vanished king of wanderers, Lee Suk-young, and Yu Sung-ah. Yu Sung-ah's eyes were wide as she stared into the air, and Lee Suk-young asked, When will you release the skill on this child? Thought infection. Over a week had passed, but Yu Sung-ah was still resisting. Nirvana laughed. I'm not releasing it. You'll have to solve it yourself. It was interesting from Nirvana's standpoint. It is a foolish thing. She is resisting when she simply has to declare that she will live in the present. The value of the past is different for those who live a short life. It is because you live a short life that you should put more value in the present. You are blessed with death, but you don't know the value of it. Don't judge other people's present based on yourself. She's living in the present enough. You are the one ignorant about the present because you reincarnate over and over. Don't forget, I'm only keeping you alive until your story is worthy. Lee Suk-young's face was relaxed despite the threat. She was like Scheherazade in 1001 Nights. Nirvana slowly pulled out a chair and sat down. He demanded, "Tell me the information I want to know." "What do you want to know?" "The incarnation called Kim Dokcha." Lee Suk-young's smile stiffened for the first time. "I don't know that incarnation." "There is no use in pretending. I already know that he is your son. The neutral guy told me. He and I parted when he was young. I have no idea about how he has been living. I'll see when I look inside you." The bright wheel of life started to turn behind Nirvana. Inside the wheel of life, the 1,000 hands of Avalokiteśvara started to stretch out. The gigantic hand covered Lee Suk-young's head. Lee Suk-young glared at the hand in a displeased manner. Nirvana threatened, "Open your memories, or the woman next to you will die." "It is a childish threat." "You have been giving into this childish threat. That is what a human is." Lee Suk-young stared at Yu Song-a's blank eyes and sighed. "Do what you want." The exclusive skill Origin of Principle and Secondary Causes Level 6 has been activated. Avalokiteśvara's hand firmly dug into Lee Suk-young's head. Lee Suk-young's story flowed and started to entangle with Nirvana's story. There was a sense of being one. Nirvana's senses trembled. He chewed, tasted, ate, and enjoyed. He was a genuine Epicurean of the Star Stream. "It is really amazing. How does a human like you have filtered information of the future?" Lee Suk-young desperately tried to protect the memories, but the fragmentary future knowledge she obtained from Kim Dokcha couldn't rebel against the flow of the Origin of Principle and Secondary Causes, and they were sucked into Nirvana. "Interesting. This is the essence of Kim Dokcha." "You are a sad mother. You lied to your child. You deceived your child for your own dogmatism." Cold anger filled Lee Suk-young's face as she declared, "You won't be able to win against that child." "I admit that he is an interesting incarnation." He was the one that forced Nirvana to use succession. However, he was only human. It was just up to here. Then a message rang in the air. "Applying for a duel with the Salvation Church's leader, Nirvana Mobius." The surprised Nirvana looked up at the air. It was Kim Dokcha using the loudspeaker. Lee Suk-young spoke like she had been waiting. "That child is strong and wise. He knows what he needs and what he can do best. The place of the duel is Gwanghwamun at 2 p.m. today. The person you will be confronting is the Supreme King joongyuk. The two people closest to being the strongest incarnations will fight to defend Seoldom. If you really are living in the present, don't avoid this confrontation." Using the present as an excuse? It was a confrontation that couldn't be avoided if he was a real savior. Furthermore, the clever use of this loudspeaker was amazing. If he avoided this confrontation, he would receive the chastisement of all the incarnations in Seoldom, as well as the Salvation members. However, he would be a fool to go after knowing it was a trap. Nirvana laughed. "The provocation is decent. Then what should I do? In any case, my goal isn't to clear the scenario. My purpose is great. Of course, your great plan won't consent to this confrontation. However," Nirvana stiffened at Kim Dokcha's words, "if you come now, I will give you a chance to become one with joongyuk." Nirvana was so astonished that he let go of the Origin of Principle and Secondary Causes. He shivered in anger, wonder, and an unknown sense of shame, and bit his lips. Lee Suk-young felt Nirvana's intense urge through the string that connected them. It was a desire to combine with one person for a bigger story. Lee Suk-young laughed at the desire. "I told you that you are going to lose." "Okay." Nirvana's answer came quickly. The party members looked blank as if they didn't know what to expect. I stood up and shook off my dizziness. "Dokcha-shi, how? No, are you okay?" Min Ji-won looked anxiously at the black bruise left around my eye. It was the trace left behind by joongyuk after I sold his name. I rubbed my eyes and asked, "Has that jerk left already?" I even fell unconscious for a while. Damn that ignorantly powerful man. He left as soon as he heard the answer. "Then we will go as well." Lee Gil-young's slightly sour expression became excited. Dok Cha-hyung, I'm glad we're fighting together this time. Yes. I couldn't laugh. Nirvana would have surely gained new skills and couldn't be challenged as easily as before. Of course, joongyuk would also defend himself, so victory or defeat wouldn't be as easy to predict. In fact, I wasn't interested in their fight. The real problem was the loud message in my head. You are currently the strongest incarnation in Seoul. Now, what should I do?